good afternoon, ladies and gents. Thanks for tuning in to a FTX full scan this afternoon. If you haven't got a FTX account, then feel free to use the link in the description below and create an account with them, and you'll receive 10% off all your trading fees. A coin. Now, it's quite interesting on this daily chart how we saw this sudden spike, all this buying pressure come in on Bitcoin, and we're sort of sold off a little bit yesterday and more today, which sort of plays into these series of lower highs, right? So if this closes quite bearish, then yeah, we do have a series of lower highs, and it's beginning to look more bearish than bullish. I'm interested to see how it reacts with this $40,000 mark, whether we come down and we find support there, in which case, you know, it could be expected that we see a bounce off that level and maybe move up to test this $45,000 mark. Failing that, we could just crash straight through and test this level again, which will put us back into this accumulation zone. But at the moment, there just isn't anything there for us to trade on Bitcoin. This 4-hour chart just looks terrible, you know, as we're pushed up through this level and now we're pulling back. So yeah, there isn't much there. G'day Daniel, I hope you're well, and Jamie, ApeCoin pumping. Yeah, I was watching ApeCoin last night when it hit FTX, and I was just interested to see what I expected the list, what it was. I think it was $5. I think on FTX it got up to about, so I guess that market cap Bitcoin, yeah, daily and 4-hour, there's nothing. Let's have a look at 1 inch, and I'm just going to throw 2 charts up. So we'll have the daily on the right and the 4-hour on the left. And this is my third scan for today. So, quite honest, there isn't much there. We need a lot more work to do before provide. We need a trend, and so 1 inch, yep, on the daily before we are in a uptrend. The 4-hour is just looking, you know, miserable. We've just had this sudden push up and then move sideways, so we can skip that. AvePerp is one that we have seen some buying come in. We have broken the previous high, so a pullback to create a higher low is what I'm looking for. We don't have that yet, and the 4-hour is, yeah, basically shot straight up. We can have a look at the 1. You know, we do have a little bit of a trend coming in on the 1 if you're that way inclined to trade these lower time frames. The trend is there, the MACD is there, and the 2-hour, you know, backs it up. So I do have it in the list just to keep an eye on it to see how it goes. I'm not saying there's a trade there right now. A little bit more of a deeper pullback on this 1-hour time frame would be ideal, but I'd suggest lowering your risk. Cardano, again, it needs to break that previous high on the daily before we're in an uptrend. We sort of bottomed out, had a quick spike of buying, but this 4-hour time frame is, yeah, looking quite miserable, so we can skip that. Adventure Gold just doing its thing. Alchemix is looking bearish on the daily, but the 4-hour is an absolute mess. We didn't get a deep pullback on this daily, so it is one to keep. You know, the trend is just not that great. We have, yeah, the daily in a bearish trend. We've pulled back into that cradle zone, but across the board, there's most of them, you know, the MACD is divergent. The MACD is not agreeing with the current price action, so that's steering us away from daily cradles, and sort of indicating that maybe there is a bit more buying coming in, and we may expect a bit more of a, you know, buying pressure come in and some higher price action, but it's just a waiting game. So yeah, Algo, yeah, it is pulling back. The 4-hour trend is, yeah, not that great. So yeah, I think we can skip that. Yeah, I think there's going to be better ones out there, hopefully. Alice, another one, strong daily downtrend. The 4-hour is nothing really, just a quick spike up and a pullback. So there's no trades at the moment. You could argue that that has pulled back into the cradle zone, and if that does close bearish, then yeah, you've got a bearish candle in the cradle zone, but the trend isn't that great. And is there a level down here that we need to keep an eye out for? Not really. These wicks just aren't that great either, but yeah, I think that's going to be one that will come out in tomorrow's scan if you do scan over the weekend. Hey Kaz, I hope you're well. Alpha, another one, daily downtrend. So we've got a lower low, lower high, lower low, but the MACD doesn't agree, so that cancels this out for any short trades on the daily. And the 4 hour again is just a mess. We can go down these lower time frames, but generally I like to trade in the direction of the 4 hour if I am trading these lower time frames, but because the 4 hours a mess, we can skip that. We're just looking for really good trends on the daily and the 4 hour time frame, and I just believe it's going to be a little bit of a waiting game on that. Alt perp as well, daily is looking very sideways. We found a little bit of a level through here around this region, where we've tested a few times, and we've got a series of lower highs forming into that level. So we'll see how that goes up in the next few days. If we do see a push higher, we kind of need to break this previous high before we're in an uptrend. We don't have that yet, and the 4 hour is just, yeah, quick shoot up, bit of resistance through here. So yeah, we'll see how that plays out. Ampleforth is the same, just very messy chart. Arweave, daily, high, it's there. We can have a look lower. Yeah, no trends there, so no trading opportunities for us. ASD is moving lower, MACD divergent. Atlas is, yeah, moving lower again, but you know, MACD is divergent and there's no 4 hour trend. So it may be a quick scan today, which isn't a bad thing. We are looking for those perfect trades, and we are looking for those really good, you know, standout trends. I just don't think we have that yet. Atom, yeah, a mess on the daily and the 4. Audio, another one that has formed a little bit of a level through here with a series of lower highs coming into that level. So I guess over the next few days we may see some more selling come in and retest these levels, in which case, you know, we might be setting up for a breakout, but the MACD needs a lot more work to do. AVAX looks like a mess on the daily. You know, there's no real trend, and the 4 hour as well. We've just seen a lot of buying come in, no trend. Axie, testing this level again with a series of lower highs forming into this level. We do need to break this previous high before we're in a bullish daily trend, and the 4 hour has just, you know, no real trend there. Badger is the same, coming down into a level with a series of lower highs. Bullper, what do we have? Not the best looking daily trend, but we do have a level through. Wouldn't be surprised if we do see some more selling down into that level, much the same as, you know, the previous tokens, but yeah, nothing there. The 4 hours a mess as well. So just and I just love that today. Band, same thing, a level. We're building down into that level. Bayo is very wicky, not looking good. Bat. Okay, so BAT, we have broken the previous high. We've pushed higher. We need that pullback to create that higher low before we're really in an uptrend on the daily. It doesn't mean we can't look at the 4 hour. Yeah, the 4 hour. Yeah, look at that. No trend on the 4. The 2, the 8, they're all messy. We need to see that cyclicity coming on the 4 before we can look at these lower time frames. But I think I would much prefer a pullback on the daily, and I'll be checking the 2 day as well to make sure those moving averages are good. Bitcoin Cash, series of, you know, lower highs, higher lows, lower high, almost textbook sideways price action on the daily. Bit down, pulling back into that cradle zone. There's just no trend. Binance coin, again, bit of a level through here that we can mark. Again, it's very wicky, so it's not a tradable level, but there is somewhat of a level through here with a series of lower highs building into that level. Bancor, again, a level building into that level. We're not out of the woods yet. Boba perp is 4 hour, but the daily. As much as I hate doing scans like this, where you're just skipping over tokens because there's no trend, it is quite frustrating, but it's almost necessary because there's obviously no trends that are just jumping out at you. There's no standout trends for you to look lower and look for trades, and that's what we want. BSV level building into that level with a series of lower highs. MACD is divergent though, so whether we do build into those levels, yeah, that MACD needs a lot of work to do. C98, another one, bit of a messy, confused daily trend, and same as the 4 hour. Cake, we saw a lot of buying come in yesterday. Why? I'm not 100% sure, but I believe Pancake Swap was it was holding that, what was it, the ape coin. So yeah, I guess a lot of buying came in on Pancake Swap for that token. But yeah, that sort of ruined any trend that was forming. Cello, another one, quite an ugly daily trend, and the 4 hour we just saw a quick pump, so that's ruined any trend there. Celsius, very sideways on the daily. Looks like we're building up into a little bit of a level through here. We've broken a few times. A little bit more evident on this 4 hour chart. Let's just see how it reacts with that level. Chromia, very messy daily chart. We need to break that previous high. And the 4 needs a lot more work to do as well. Chili's, yeah, messy. Clover is very soft. Comp, again, you could argue previous high, and we have broken that, so we'll pull back to create a higher low. Would be ideal, but these moving averages need a lot more work to do as well. And remember, like, we're not trying to pick the bottom when it comes to these trades. Yeah, they may have bottomed out, and we may be starting to see some small indicators of a possible price or a trend reversal, sorry. But again, we're not trying to pick the bottom. We need those trends to form back to the long side. We need those trends to begin to form, and then we just take a chunk in the middle. We take those really good trends in the middle. Crow is another one building into a level. Yeah, a lot more work to do on Crow. I think I can take that out. CRV, beautiful looking trend. Pull back into the cradle zone, drop, pull back, bearish candle, but the MACD does not agree, so we can skip that. CVC is looking very sideways, and the 4 hour, yeah, there's nothing there either. Dash, look at that. Look at that on Dash, like absolute mess on the daily. Dawn, another one that's just very sideways, no trend on the daily, no trend on the 4. We can skip that. Ideally, we'll see a bullish trend on the daily, a bullish trend on the 4 hour, and we can look at these lower time frames, and we'll see another beautiful cyclicity on these lowers, and that's where we can find our high probability trades. But unfortunately, we just don't have that yet. Dent is sitting right on a level with another series of lower highs building into that level, so unfortunately, there's a few wicks down below showing that there's a bit of buying pressure below that level. So trading below that level, you've just got to take that into account. Dodo, again, Beautiful pullback into that cradle zone, but the MACD does not agree. And the 4 hours messy. Doge pulling back, sort of ruined by that wick, so we can skip that dot. This high before we're really in a bullish trend. We're just not there yet. This 4 hour, yeah, the 4 hours just not there either. Dragon looking very sideways. DY, DX. Bearish trend pulling back into that cradle. We did have a bearish candle there. Oh, and the MACD is flat. It's not divergence, more flat than anything. So there's possibly a trade there this morning. But from now, if you didn't take that trade, we can always scope these lower time frames and look for nice cyclicity, but there just isn't any on this token at the moment. Eden. Sitting on a level, needs a lot more work to do. I feel this whole scan is going to be the same thing. We're just waiting for that trend to come in. Engine. Building into a level. Need to break that previous high, so we can skip that. Because the 4 hour trend isn't there. ENS, very sideways. EOS. Building into a level, equal previous high, very equal previous high. There's no trend on the 4. Let's have a look at the 1. For us at the moment. Level through here. Series of lower highs building into that. Yeah, no trend. No real trend. ETH. Another one that looks like it's building into a little bit of a level. Still bearish. The 4 hour, no trend. Let's have a look at the 1. Yeah. It seems like it's sort of running out of steam to the bullish side, and we may see some further selling off on ETH. Exchange perp. Broken that previous high. A pullback for a higher low would be ideal, but it needs a lot more work to do. Feeder. Very messy daily trend and messy 4 hour trend. Filecoin building into this level. It needs a lot more work to do, so it is building into this level. We ideally would see another little pump on this to create that further lower high. We just don't have that yet. Flamingo token. Kind of ruined by this big wick here. But we did get a pullback on the daily. Unfortunately, it's divergent with the MACD. Flow. The daily trend. Interesting to see how. Now, Phantom was. We do have a daily trend. Lower high. Around that cradle zone, the MACD looked good. We had a bearish candle. So anyone that took that, you would be in that trade right now. If you didn't take that, you can always scope these lower time frames and watch for really nice cyclicity on these like the 30 and the 1 hour. We don't quite have that, but if you're that way inclined, then that's an option for you. FTT is very sideways. Gala, again, same thing, very sideways. GRT, just a bit of a quick pump, and we're selling back off, so there's nothing there. Hedera, another one with a level through here, and we're building down into that level. So tokens like this that are building down into a level, you can scope for shorts, but there's obviously some support through here. So shorting into that level is a bit of a risky game. If you can take your targets before that level, then good. If not, then it's a silly trade then. HNT needs to break this previous high. It is trying, but there's nothing there at the moment. And take that out wholly. Nothing there. Hot. Oh, sorry, holo. Nothing there. Look at these trends, you know, like these daily trends are just a mess, the daily and the 4 hour. If you don't have a trend on the daily and you don't have a trend on the 4 hour, but you may have one on these lowers, then it's still the probabilities just aren't in your favor. So I'd suggest waiting for those trends to come back. Nothing there. IOTA building into a level. I think it might be an interesting weekend and start to next week as we continue. You know, if we do see some further selling off, we'll continue to build into those levels, and we'll see how the price reacts, whether we see a nice big rejection off those levels and move higher, or you know, we see a breakthrough of those levels and see further selling off in some tokens. KNC, one of the few that we do have a daily bullish trend. Do we have any trends lower? Not really. We can skip that. Take that out. Kilo, bearish trend. MACD doesn't like it that much. Let's have a look lower to see if there's any trends on these lower time frames. No, nothing that jumps out at me. Leo, very sideways. Lena just does not know what it's doing. Link needs to break this previous high. We're sort of just moving sideways. We've created an equal low, haven't broken that previous high, so we're sort of, you know, sideways. LRC building into a level. Litecoin, what do we have here? Nothing really, you know, building into a little bit of a level. Yeah, needs a lot more work to do. Luna, Luna was looking really good on the daily. We had a lot of buying pressure come in. We pulled back into that cradle zone, didn't get the entry candle that we wanted. We did see a push higher, but the MACD just doesn't look that good at the moment. It's looking more bearish than anything. So we can take that out. Maps. Looks like there's a little bit of a level through here. A push higher and a pullback may present something, but that's not going to be for a while. Matic pulled back into that cradle zone. We're building into a level as well. Matter, nothing there. Very sideways on MCB. Media purpose, very wiki. We can skip that. Jamie, you mentioned ApeCoin. Do you own any ApeCoin? I think they were distributing that to any holders of those Bored Ape NFTs or Mutant Apes, or I think there's Kennel something tokens as well. They were actually giving a few of those tokens out. So if you were holding one of those NFTs and you did get allocated some tokens, then you've probably paid for your NFT if you did sell last night when price, especially on FTX, got up to about $30 or $40. I think I read somewhere that if you did hold a Bored Ape, you got about 5,000 of these tokens allocated to you, which you know, do the maths. You know, 5,000 tokens at $40. It's a lot of money. Nothing there on Maker. Mango building into a level. MTA looking very messy. Metal sideways. MVDA, we can throw, you know, a little bit of a level through there with a series of lower highs building into that. Same for MVDA 2.5 near. Very sideways on the daily. Neo is a mess. It's one of those days where not being at the computer scoping for trades is probably the best option for us. No trend on OMG, 1 perp. Again, MACD doesn't like the daily. We can skip that. ONT. Nothing there. Orbs. Yeah, very messy. What's happened here with Oxy? We've had a bit of a pump. That doesn't show any trades for us though, so we can skip that. Gold has had a huge sell-off. Perp. It's looking very sideways. We can skip that. Polis continues to sell off, but there's just no trend on this 4 hour. Priv perp, higher high, higher low, barely broken the previous high. We do have a higher low. Yeah, there's nothing there. Prom, very sideways. Pundi, look at that chart. Look at that daily chart. Nothing. Qtum. Unfortunately, we've seen a lot of, confused price action over the past, say, 2 weeks or 3 weeks. There have been a handful of trading opportunities, but we just need that nice price action, that cyclicity, like Qtum, for example. We need some direction, some movement. At the moment, if you look at this past few weeks, it's just overall it's just sideways. Ramp, nothing there. Ray perp. We get rid of that level. MACD doesn't agree. Reef. Yeah, nothing there. Ren. Render token. Rook perp, nothing there either. Quick pump, quick sell-off. Reserve rights, bit of a level through here. We are building into that. We haven't broken the previous high. The 4 hour is just a huge pump and a sell-off. I wouldn't be surprised if we retrace that whole pump. Now Rune is one that was looking, we do have a lot of buying coming in on this daily time frame. We can look lower. Look at this 4 hour. You can see that we've got a higher high, higher low, another higher high, pulling back into that cradle zone. But look at this, the MACD just does not like it. Oops. So yeah, there's nothing there for us on Rune. Sand, we kind of need to break that previous high. We have seen a lot of buying come in, but we're just retracing that. So we do need to break that previous high before there's any bullish trends on sand. Sear coin, sideways. Seco, we're building into that level with a series of lower highs. There's nothing really there for us. Shiba, nothing. Shit perp, another one with a level through here. Building down into that level. And we do need to break that previous high before we can start looking for bullish trades. Smooth love. Very sideways. I hate markets like this. I hate, sitting out of the market and not trading or telling other people to do the same thing, because it's, it's not what we're here for. We're here to trade. But it's one of those lessons that we need to learn is patience and knowing when to sit out and conserve our capital, knowing when the market conditions just aren't good for trading. And unfortunately, today and I believe the next few days are going to be like that, unless we see a lot of buying or selling where some cyclicity can come in and help us out with our trades. But there's just nothing there at the moment. Step perp. Yeah, nothing there. Storm X, look at that, very sideways. Storage, nothing. Sushi looks to have found a level down here, and we are building into that. Sort of made an equal high. So yeah, let's see how sushi goes. Whether we continue higher and create a higher low, or we see some further selling off down into that level. Yeah, swipe, nothing there. Theta. Another one building into a level. Alien Worlds. Nothing there, unfortunately. Tomo, nothing. Yeah, look at that, very messy. True perp. Bit of buying coming into true perp. Cyclicity's not there though for us. Nothing there. Buy Lira, very sideways. Julep, nothing. Uniperp, building into that level. Uniswap, another one building into a level. Throw this level in there. It does have a few wicks, but it's a level nonetheless. Waves. Now Waves was one that we did see a lot of buying come into, but since then it's just moved sideways. Tether Gold, nothing there. NEM, looking quite bearish, but there's no trend. XLM, XMR. Unfortunately, there's nothing there for us. XRP, that very sideways. High, 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 low. Unfortunately, there's no levels. There's no cyclicity on this 4. So Zilperp is looking sideways as well. ZRX building into that level, and we're back at the top. So let's bring this list up. Unfortunately, there's just nothing really out there. I think the only thing that may provide trading opportunities for us today is Phantom, and it's these lower time frames, because that daily. Let's have a look at the daily. So the daily has played out. There was a bearish candle there. It has triggered. It was backed by a level as well, which is what we want. But we can look at these lower time frames and hope that we get another level forming into that for our cradle, to back up our cradle trades, or we see some nice cyclicity, such as this 30-minute time frame, a pullback, push lower, pull back. Also needs to be backed by the next higher time frame as well, and the MACD. So I think that's probably the only thing out of that whole list that I'll be keeping an eye on today. The rest are just a waiting game, waiting for them to either sell into those levels, and we'll see how it reacts with those levels, whether we see a breakthrough and move lower or we see a rejection. But yeah, at the moment it's Phantom and sort of all eyes on Bitcoin as well. Let's see how Bitcoin goes, whether we retrace this whole move that we saw 2 days ago, or we form a higher low, sorry, on this level and we move higher. Who knows? It's just a waiting game. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Sorry there's no trades out there for us at the moment, but yeah, let's see what the weekend brings. Yeah, thanks guys, and I'll chat to you soon.